Priti Patel is furious with the French authorities and she's now planning to turn back the boats, finally. Over the past few weeks, a couple of months, we've seen a rise in the French boats and migrant boats coming from Calais, and actually French authorities escorting them to the UK border and handing them over to the Brits. No one said anything. The mainstream media weren't really paying attention. Nigel Farage went out there, exposed this massive scandal and reported it on his YouTube channel, on Twitter, and then people started talking about this. Priti Patel, initially showed her reaction. Everybody said, well, is it just all talks? Apparently not. She's now planning to turn back the boats. She's planning to go to the French and tell them that the current arrangement isn't working anymore. First, for those of you who don't know, let's watch the clip we have from Nigel Farage about this issue and come back.
It's the 26th of May, it's 6 a.m. We're out here in the mid-channel again. The film last week caused one hell of a stir. A lot of MPs contacting Priti Patel demanding action. We're told that the Home Secretary has spoken to the French authorities. What's been said, what's been agreed, I don't know. One of the things this film exposed last week was this whole concept of French naval vessels escorting these dinghies with migrants and then handing them over to the British Border Force. That had never been exposed before. That has caused one hell of a row.
Yes, and before we actually talk about what Priti Patel is going to be doing, let's do an overcap, because actually yesterday we had this news coming from Westminster actually reporting that 15 migrant boats on Sunday, yesterday, actually came to the UK. More than a dozen migrant boats were intercepted in a single day yesterday, as the problem of illegal migration into Britain continues to get worse. In total, 15 boats carrying 180 migrants were intercepted, and the Border Force and RNLI obviously got involved, and throughout the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, they ranged from vessels carrying 2 migrants to one that had about 22 on board. So this is the situation we're dealing with, and the Home Office, the bureaucrats, the Border Force have been extremely complacent, because all the Home Secretaries we had recently, including Amber Rudd, including Theresa May, didn't do much about this issue. It has been getting worse recently. Priti Patel is Home Secretary now, and she's apparently taking action. So she's now vowed to change the law to turn back all the French boats that we are seeing. She's planning to change the international law and close the loophole that allows hundreds of illegal migrants to cross the channel from France, because this is the loophole that the French authorities have been using over the past few years, because they can say that, firstly, forget about Schengen, forget about the whole EU border issues. This is the agreement between the French and the Brits, and the French, don't want to keep anybody, well, many of them there, because the locals in near Calais have been complaining. And the problem is, we always say, any migrant or refugee that gets to Europe, mainland Europe, as long as they are now in a safe place, there is no excuse for them to keep traveling around. If you are now safe in France, sort out your process, your paperwork there. Why would you then essentially illegally come to another country, the UK? So firstly, thank God that we have a bit of water between us and the rest of Europe, because otherwise this situation would have been a lot worse. So now the Home Secretary is furious, as we mentioned, about this issue, and has vowed to put a stop to it. Tensions have also been raised with the French over allegations that their authorities are escorting these boats into British waters from camps in northern France. And the reason that is that people in northern France are kicking off. Now, Nigel Farage has called for a swift action, and there's a massive pressure on the government. Tory MPs, especially the MPs near Dover and those areas, are writing letters demanding these changes. A source close to the Home Secretary said that she's not happy about what's going on, but the source insisted that it was wrong to accuse the French of escorting migrants over the channel, adding that they do not have the legal powers to stop the boats from coming over, but because they have a duty to rescue, they have to shadow these overcrowded boats in French waters. Fine, let's talk about the legal issues. You got one side of it, which is obviously if there is an illegal boat coming from France, the French boats have to essentially escort them to make sure that they're safe. But put aside the legality, this is an arrangement between two sovereign nations. Well, one sovereign nation, Britain, and France. This is just excuses because the French don't want to keep them. Otherwise, they would have. The migrants, this is the same source, is saying the migrants will say that they do not need rescuing until they enter British waters. Then suddenly they say that they do, and it has become the responsibility of border force here. So I understand this issue. So the border force want to also act legally. So this is the route that the smugglers have discovered on a legal level. This is how they're tricking both the French authorities and the UK border force. But now Priti Patel wants to close this loophole because this has been the issue. When they're in the French waters, they say, "Oh, we're safe, everything's fine. We're just, going around for no reason." When the moment they get to the British waters, they say, "Oh no, we need help! Rescue us! Rescue us!" This is the loophole that they've been using for a long time now. Now, the sources said that we are working with the French on this because they want to resolve this problem too. Highly doubt that, but okay. Currently, they are having to open camps in northern France, and that is infuriating the local population. So if they can't stop the attraction of attempting to make crossings to Britain, then it will help them. Well, yes, but also you need to move them from northern France. Simple. You're in charge. The French authorities, the French government, are responsible for housing these migrants, or whether they're in camps or temporary housing. Then move them somewhere else. Don't bring them close to our border. This will happen, obviously. Now, the Home Office is suggesting that Border Force has permission to intercept boats in French waters and take them back to France. The issue was highlighted by Nigel Farage last week after he reportedly filmed these migrants. That's a good point. Even right now, we can do this. But what Priti Patel wants to do, firstly, to act on this, but apparently actually to change the law to make sure that we stop this idiotic loophole. Now, Nigel Farage has pointed out that the UK has spent £60 million in northern France on measures to prevent crossings and protection systems, but said that the French were still unwilling to stop the boatloads of migrants coming over. It would appear that the French Navy is incapable. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, whether it's the incompetence of the French or whether they're doing it on purpose, that's their fault. We just have to protect our side and our borders. So the border force and the Home Office, they need to make sure that, if somebody is coming here illegally, just turn back the boats. And hopefully this is the plan that Priti Patel has. And now, to be fair, I would give some credit to Priti over recently because she has been a strong Home Secretary. At first, we thought it was all rhetoric, with a lot of things that she's been talking about, with ending the free movement, but she actually did act on it very quickly. Then also in terms of the current issue, but also what's been happening on the streets of the UK over the past month or so, with the idiots on the left taking over the streets and causing chaos. She's now going to be protecting the police officers who have been trying to keep us safe, but have been under attack from the left. So this is according to Daily Mail, the idiots who have been attacking the officers are now going to be facing longer jail terms. So obviously this is good news because a lot of these police officers have been, because I have spoken to a number of people who are individual police officers, not the people at the top. They want to have more powers. They want to be able to exercise their powers to make sure that they can keep the streets safe. But they've been told to just maintain peace, which means that, we saw a few weeks ago when both sides came out, the anti-statues, the pro-statues, they had, riot squads and, massive police presence on the right side, the pro-statue side. And then when you had the Marxists and the communists, the anarchists on the other side, they just gave them the community support of police officers because, they're just too afraid of provoking them. And kind of the double standard has been absolutely crazy. Now, the Daily Mail is talking about how the idiots, the communists, the anarchists who are out there attacking the police should be, Priti is planning to double the maximum sentence for them, which is good. And it should be even more, to be fair. Because some of them actually, like, they get arrested, they go in, they come back out, and they get a warning, and some of them don't even actually get charged properly. This is not the situation we should have on the streets of the UK. There was a time that we were proud as a nation to be pro law and order. Things seems to be out of control these days. So this is the update I have for you guys today. The next video, which will be at 8 p.m. tonight, a couple of hours after I upload this, will be about the SNP, Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, and how she's been rejected by the European Union. Their calls to make Scotland a new member of the European Union. That's not going to happen. So make sure to tune in. Also, the members of the channel have sent their questions. So I'm going to answer the questions on a weekly Q&A in the next video. So make sure to tune in. Also, if you are enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe, but also click on the notification bell next to it and click on all, not personalized, because a lot of people have been complaining that my videos aren't really coming up on their subscription feed. So unless you remember that I post a video at 5:45 p.m. and 8 p.m., then you're going to have to put the notification bell on and click on all to get notified. I'm Tousi. I'll see you guys in the next video.